Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to our final premiere draft of Innistrad Midnight Hunt before we return to the arena-powered cube starting tomorrow. Very excited for that, but also we've had a great time in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. We have had exclusively 6 and 7 win runs the entire time. This has been an absolutely fantastic flashback journey, and hopefully we can end it off with a bang. So without further ado, let's get into the pack one. Pick one. Ecstatic Awakener is just straight up the strongest card in this pack. This card plays very well. There's tons of expendable stuff to sack. So this is a cheap 3 mana 4/4 that draws you a card. More often than not, very, very strong card. Join the Dance is probably the second best card here, but it ties us to a specific 2-color pair instead of being more open, like the Awakener. So we'll start with Ecstatic Awakener, see where things go from there. Pick number 2, we have Lunarch Veteran, a great card to sacrifice to the Awakener in one of White's best commons, just consistently good in any White deck. There's also reasonable black spells, particularly Defenestrate as the best of them. It's a very solid removal spell. Could take that here and just get locked onto black. Seize the Storm's a very fun build around for blue-red spells, but it's the kind of card that I prefer to take later. Once you see that a card like this wheels, that's when you're like, okay, the archetype's open, and now I can take this build around and go for it. It's not something I usually try to take really early and just cross my fingers, hope for the best. And speaking of crossing my fingers and hope for the best, we're going to dance around here at the start and just take the kind of best card out of each pack regardless of color and wait to see what we get past the most of later. So I'm not going to get like super locked into one color this draft. I'm going to take that Veteran. Have one great common for 2 different colors. Pick number 3, there's a second Ecstatic Awakener that we can take. There's also Falcon Abomination for the incredible blue common, so that we can be in 3 different colors for now. Ecstatic Awakener does play well with the Veterans. You could have 3 cards towards the same deck, but then again, maybe it's really early in the draft, so if we get too married to the color pair and then it gets cut off, that'll be sad. These cards are equally good yet again. It's Falcon Abomination or Ecstatic Awakener is the best cards by far. I like the auto-suggest here. We'll go 1 card deep into each color. Any 2-color pair involving white, blue, and black is a great deck. Whether we end up in blue-white, blue-black, or white-black, we'll be having a great time. Pick number 4, there's a Siege Zombie still in here, which I like a lot. Also Eccentric Farmer and green. This is a very good pack in general. The Zombie and the Farmer are the best cards, though, so we take the on-color one this time. I don't really like any of the green decks too much, but especially not with any of our first 3 picks. There's no particular synergy there. If we had some Disturb or Flashback blue spell, then the Farmer would synergize, but Siege Zombie, I think, is the pick here. It's certainly better than the white creatures and the blue creature. Pick number 5. Flip the Switch is a fantastic counter spell. 3 mana count unless they pay 4 and get a 2/2 Decayed Zombie, so that's an awesome card for the blue-black deck. Although Shipwreck Sifters is really nice in blue-white Disturb, blue-white Spirits. Gavony Trapper's fine in white. Just another pack with a bunch of really good cards in blue, white, and black again. You could take almost any of these cards and it'd be fine. I think the top 2, though, are the Sifters and the Flip the Switch. I'm going to grab that Flip the Switch. Pick number 6. Geist Wave for filler if we end up in blue-black, or Search Party Captain will be quite a bit above filler in any white deck. Now we're certainly more interested in playing blue-black than a white deck at this point, but not necessarily completely married, so we'll keep that speculative Search Party Captain open. Pick 7's a great bait hook angler, which will be awesome in the blue-white or blue-black deck. But Bat Whisperer is good as well. Clarion Cathars is good as well. Bunch of good stuff all around. Here's a Silver Bolts if we don't find enough removal by the end of the draft. That's perfectly playable. Larder Zombie is a good way to use all our Decayed Zombie tokens, which we're getting off of cards like Flip the Switch and Falcon Abomination. Novice Occultist is fine with Ecstatic Awakeners, and it's a fine early trumper. I don't really feel like I'm ever missing out on top-end finishers. I don't love the more Crypt Behemoth, especially since in this set there's a lot of great removal. So we're quite likely going to end things off how we started them with another blue-black deck, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Perfectly happy to do so. Blue-black's an incredible archetype. Oh my god, we're playing blue. A pick 13 Shipwreck Sifters is wild. This card doesn't look like much, but a 2-mana 1/2 draw a card, discard a card, that's a solid rate. That's solid card selection. If you discard a spirit card or a card with Disturb, 2-mana 2/3 draw a card, discard a card is absurd. So this card's a lot better than it looks, and is certainly much better than a pick 13 kind of card. Pack 2, pick 1. Another Bait Hook Angler, another Falcon Abomination. We'll take the Falcon Abomination, fill out that mana curve really well. But both cards are great. Pack 2, pick 2. If there were a good removal spell in this pack, like an Eaten Alive or Olivia's Midnight Ambush or something, I would take it, but there's not, so we'll just grab the Jaren, which is a fun one. 3 mana for a 2/3 and a 1/1 at worst. If you manage to end up at exactly 13, you get the big finisher. That's a very rare occasion, but fun to try to get there and worth running on the off chance, because 3 mana 2/3 plus a 1/1 at worst is already at a solid stat line. Obviously, you'd prefer to run some more humans alongside and get some more triggers as well. Pick 3, nothing in blue and black. We take another Larder Zombie or No Way Out. I did lie. This is not nothing. These are both very reasonable cards for the archetype. I'll take a... Actually take a No Way Out here over the Larder Zombie, considering how late we got the first one. Tovolar is a strong card, but we are in no world able to fully pivot to werewolves, and even if we were, I would not want to pivot from like the best archetype in the set to the weakest archetype in the set. Tovolar is like the one card that can really get you a good green-red werewolf stack, though. Tovolar's Huntmaster is strong as well, but that's a mono-green card, so you don't have to play it in green-red werewolves. Tovolar you do. Pick 4. Really low on removal. I'm going to take the Eaten Alive here, even though Falcon Abomination is also great and arguably better generally. We need some removal. Pick number 5, Gale Drifter. Good value. No Way Out's okay. Like the Gale Drifter here over a second copy of No Way Out. Pick number 6, some more removal. Revenge the Drowned. Take those. Pick 7's pretty bad. Mysterious Tome's very finicky. Slipping back and forth all the time. Stormrider Spirit's kind of slow for the cost, as is the Behemoth. And these both play pretty poorly against removal. I think I'd rather have the Flash Creature than the Behemoth, but I don't like either of them. Locked in the Cemetery is some filler blue removal if we don't get enough better removal. I think Secrets of the Key and Rotten Reunion are both generically just super bad, so while I don't think we're going to be aggressive enough to enjoy Vampire Interloper, it's the only card that we might play. We do have quite the curve. We've got 5 2-mana creatures already, 3 3-mana creatures. We could hit the ground running and get a lot of damage in early. Maybe try to get some Interloper kills. Alright, we just need to find 4 more playables in the final pack, and if we find more than that, we just get to keep improving our deck from there till it is fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, here's the Mythic Common Organ Hoarder. 4 mana for a 3/2. Look at the top 3, put 1 in your hand, the rest into your grave. Incredibly good value. Super good card. Angel of Fire Ignition would have been awesome in our last deck, our Boros deck, but obviously we're not those colors here. Grab an Organ Hoarder. Pack 3, pick 2. There's a bunch of very mediocre creatures. I would rather just take the solid counterspell, the Dissipate here. 3 mana, counter anything and exile it. Here's some beautiful card draw. Memory Deluge for pack 3, pick 3. Look at the top 4, put 2 into your hand, and then flash it back for 7, putting 2 out of the 7 into your hand. We'll take that over Flip the Switch just a tiny, tiny bit. I would almost be happier if this weren't in the pack, because I'd love to have double Flip the Switch, but I don't think I can justify another Flip the Switch over Memory Deluge. There we go. Found another Flip the Switch. Lived the dream. Join the party. This is now an excellent 23 card deck, and if we find any more good playables, it will become pretty much perfect. None of these are exciting playables. Probably dropping Locked in the Cemetery first out of everything. We're on 13 creatures right now. This will be the first cut if we find something better. We do. We find a Bat Whisperer here. Even Geist Wave I'd play over Locked in the Cemetery, I feel. Just grab a Bat Whisperer over the lock. Pick 7 Eaten Alive. Beautiful. Playing Eaten Alive over the second No Way Out. Or over the Silver Bolt. Both are solid options. Do it over the second No Way Out here. Have 2 Eaten Alive and a Silver Bolt and a Revenge the Drowned for resolved threats. Next possible cuts, if we somehow keep getting good cards, would be Interloper and Stormrider Spirit. Well, there you go. Siege Zombie over Interloper. Or Siege Zombie over the Spirit. We have Memory Deluge, Revenge of the Drowned, Dissipate, double flip the switch. We're pretty good at casting the Stormrider Spirit because we could hold up a variety of different counters at the same time. So we'll take Siege Zombie over the Interloper. I will not play a second Novice Occultist or a second Silverbolt or Jack-o'-lantern. So this is just a cut. And I guess this is likely the final version of the deck. Yeah, it looks pretty good. The Stormrider Spirit plays well in here because we have all these instants. All right. Pretty happy with the... Ooh, boy. Another flip to switch? Cut that Silverbolt. Just really plan to counter things before they resolve. I have 3 ways to deal with things after they resolve. 2 Eaten Alive, 1 Revenge. I might cut another creature here to keep this Silverbolt in. Play a very controlling low creature count version of this archetype. Cut the Occultist, because we have all these flip-the-switch Decayed zombies, too. I kind of like cutting the Occultist. There's going to be so much stuff to sack to Awakener anyway, so much stuff to tap the Siege Zombie. I guess it's dropping like another human for the Jaren triggers, but that's fine. I'm going to drop the Occultist here. Play a very control-y, non-creature spell heavy blue-black build. Looks super strong to me. Very happy with the deck. We'll see how we top this format off. See if we can't get one final 7-win run. Will this be like our 5th trophy out of 7 drafts? That would be pretty sick. Fingers crossed as we hop into the gameplay. Solid start here for game 1. Awakener into Sifters with the Spirit to discard to it. The Gale Drifter, I guess the Hippogriff technically, but the Disturb card. Blue-black mirror match, they're on the play, we're on the draw. Startle our Awakener and stop the damage, I suppose. Midnight Ambush, just kill it. Here's Sifters, ditch Gale Drifter, most likely. Yep. The fact that these things stack into multiples, too. If you play multiple Sifters, they all get the +1/+1 counter. It's pretty crazy. That 3 toughness means it can attack into 2/2s like Falcon Abomination. And we play our own. Take that damage. Not on the market to trade into a Startle right now. They run out of Bat Whisperer. Larder Zombie's the draw. We can play a Siege Zombie and a Larder Zombie, or just a Memory Deluge. But we are looking for mana, so the Deluge has a lot of value to it, but so does the Siege Zombie. I'm going to push damage here and play to the board. take it here. It's not that bad if they startle Siege Zombie. It's not great. If they don't have the startle, then this is very good. Rather deal 1 damage to them or surveil 1? I really need land 5. It's probably better to surveil 1. That's got to be good enough to not mill. We just play Eaten Alive next turn instead. What are you holding up, opponent? I think the only thing that really gets us is the uncommon Flash Flyer that gives -2/-0 to something when it enters. They could No Way Out the Eaten Alive, that would not be fun. And they only have 3 power on the board now. Actually, just Memory Deluge instead, still. Against 3 power, we go to 10 on the crackback. They're just going to Revenge the Drown the Sifters. Dump that to the bottom. Don't want to allow them to counter Deluge in their end step, and then they have no counter up for one of these. And that's also only if they try to play a counter instead of playing a spell. I think I can just resolve this. Another Eaten Alive and the Black Source for both of them. Take 1. Now I don't have to sack the Decayed Zombie. Three flyer still big enough to get through the 2/2. We could still just vibe here and hold on to the Eaten Alives. Because there are bomb creatures and stuff like Gisa. So here we could just like flash in a Storm Rider Spirit, maybe gets countered. If it does, then the Eaten Alives are free. If it doesn't get countered, it's still big enough to win by itself. And we get to save the Eaten Alives for scarier cards. And then a 2/2. Nope, Devious Cover-Up. Alright, they're tapped out of it now. Find a Jaren. Sure. Jaren could actually get us to exactly 13 off of the lifelink too. Which is kind of sick. Although I don't have the mana to give Jaren lifelink and flip Jaren in the same turn. Be cool if I did. We're working our way towards a 7 mana Memory Deluge, so we can't afford to play around a No Way Out right now. If they have the discard 2, they've got the discard 2. Defenestrate on the Jaren. Give that one lifelink for fun. Focus down to 10. There's our flip the switch. I feel that we're in the position to just play the flyer while they are tapped out. And then wait till we have the 7th land, because then I'm holding up a Memory Deluge if I don't flip the switch. Which is a lot better than passing and holding up a flip the switch. Holding nothing up if I don't cast it. Perfect. Well, maybe not completely perfect. Because it's going to be nighttime and they're going to have the 4/4 Menace. If I don't cast anything here. But I've got the double block for it, I've got a counter spell. I'm still going to hold here rather than casting Eaten Alive. Okay. Attack for lethal. Midnight Ambush. Flip the switch. They do not have the 4 mana to pay for it. They could have their own flip the switch, but we do have the 4, so that is going to be game. Finish them off in the sky, starting things off 1-0, heading into game 2. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 2. We've got Ecstatic Awakener, Falcon Abomination, No Way Out, and we've got both colors in the opener, so great stuff. Playing against the black deck with Champion of the Perished, turn 1. That's a very scary card. We've got the Eaten Alive to deal with it, but obviously we'd prefer not to sack the Ecstatic Awakener, so we'll wait. Play a 3-drop on turn 3, and then on turn 4 we play a 3-drop and an Eaten Alive. So we're going to take some champion damage here early. Well, drawing the Jaren means we play a much better blocker here. I was just going to play Falcon Abomination, but I think it's important we get a 3 toughness blocker to stop at least the Siege Zombie from attacking us for now. Because Champion's probably swinging for another 3 this turn. We're already down to 14 at best, if that's the case. Yeah, we don't want to be taking another 2 from a Siege Zombie. We certainly don't want to trade a flyer down into it. And this could hold off their attacks entirely. I mean, Jaren's a 2-3 and a 1-1. We get the trade? Cool. Now, Falcon Abomination plus Eaten Alive and then No Way Out, their last 2 cards. I don't know that I want to Eaten Alive a Siege Zombie that bad. Especially when we're going to have a 4-4 Awakener soon enough. It could be worth it to be mana efficient right now, but I'm not going to Eat Alive. They could have like Crawl from the Cellar or something on the champion. Plus plenty of other potentially scary cards. I'm happy to see they passed through there. I'm actually a little surprised by that. This may mean removal on Falcon Abomination. If it means nothing, I'm surprised they didn't at least attack us. They still have 4 cards in hand. I think I'm safe to hold off and go ahead and flip the Awakener here. Oh, so it's because they're 3 colors, black, red, and white, that they got slowed down there. Now they have a Siege Zombie activation if nothing else. No Way Out can put them down to just a single card left at this point. And now that they have white and red, I could see them like playing a land and 2 spells, and then No Way Out doesn't really get them that bad. This seems like the last opportunity to guaranteed hit them with No Way Out. Gets rid of Rite of Oblivion and a land. Okay, Awoken Demon trades into 2 creatures on board, so we have good attacks already. I might go ahead and exile their lifelinker. Ritual Guardian doesn't have lifelink right now, but if they have 3 different power of creatures on board, if they have Coven, so to speak, then it will be a lifelinker on the crackback. Which is obviously pretty difficult to race. Super happy with that if they don't have a trick here. They don't? Alright, well, guess we're saving Eaten Alive. Land for turn, Diregraph Horde, that gives them the expendable tokens for Rite of Oblivion. A chunky body on the ground. Hit them for 5 a turn in the sky. They die in 3 swings. 3 swings here. But they have the Rite of Oblivion to slow that down. Okay. So they're going to lose one of their Decayed Zombies next turn to casting Rite of Oblivion, and they're going to lose the Siege Zombie to the Storm Rider Spirit. What a top deck. Okay, I mean, we have the Eaten Alive to kill that, but that's going to draw them multiple cards. Equal to the life we lost. Yikes. If they attack with only Siege Zombie, then we're actually still chilling. Okay, we are not chilling. They are going to draw an extra card here. So they exile one card out of the top two, and then they play that this turn. Slaughter Specialist. So whenever one of our creatures dies, that gets bigger. Doesn't trigger when our cards get exiled. Yeah, we have to hit the Florian to stop their card draw. But we might get outraced at this point because they get to kill Storm Rider Spirit. But they are out of Decayed stuff to sack to Rite of Oblivion. They'll have to actually sack the Siege Zombie. They could ping us for 1, but then that would allow us to ping them for 2. I'd be pretty happy if they do that, because I don't really want to block. Don't really want to chump block right now. Yep. She-Zombie trades up. There's Flip the Switch a little late, but they are still losing the race. Ooh, Siege Zombie's actually awesome here. They might be hitting their land clump now. Looks to be the case. There's the concession from our opponent, and that is 2-0 heading to game 3. Here we are on the draw for game number 3. Our opponent starts with turn 1 Snarling Wolf. Got a pretty great opening hand here. Siege Zombie, Dissipate, and then multiple options at 4 mana. Go to 17. Snarling Wolf just going to rip us apart for now. Here's the Siege Zombie, which is not going to block the Snarling Wolf because they can just spend 2 and eat the zombie. Interesting. Don't know if I like that. They attacked with the wolf and then didn't use their mana, so they probably have something here. Okay, they have another creature. I'll just dissipate that. We have so much to cast main phase that I'm happy to just slow down their threats here. Rather than trying to hold up an instant in the future. Man, we'll just play to the board in this matchup. Drop a Bat Whisperer. Don't need card advantage right now. I still have plenty of spells to cast. Falcon Abomination in particular being great with Eaten Alive. They're going to Cathartic Pyre just to discard 2, draw 2. That is awesome for us. They must be flooded out then if that's the choice. Discarding 2 forests, drawing 2. Happy to trade Bat Whisper into Snarling Wolf against a red deck. We're already down to 13. We'll be down to 10 if we let it through. I don't mind the trade. But they are not going to attack with it. There's a lot of like potentially dangerous things they could have. If we go too low, like down to 10, there's cards like Pax Betrayal and stuff to borrow our creatures. And this Bat Whisper is never attacking through the 2/5 anyway. So we play to the sky here. I mean, we can get a lot of damage in if I eat the Ruffian and attack all. Yeah, I guess at this rate, that's actually pretty good. It's another 6 damage to them to send these in instead of holding them on blocks. Bird Admirer for the reach creature. Sure. Do it all over again. Make sure our opponent has a terrible time. And there's the concession from our opponent. Those 1 mana eaten alives off of the 3 mana creatures that each spit out a token. Just a brutal tempo swing, and that is going to be 3-0, at least the 50-50 record to top off this format. All right, here we are on the play for game number 4. Opponent takes a mulligan. No Way Out should be particularly rude after they've mulliganed. Probably just Sifters and a No Way Out. Memory Deluge is the draw. That gives us a full curve here. We're not really playing to the board with this curve, but 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana. Something to do every turn. Catilda. Certainly would like to blow up Catilda as soon as possible to shut off their mana. So we'll do that turn 4, play and use the Silver Bolts. And then turn 5, I can Stormrider Spirit or Memory Deluge. And they discarded Loyal Gryph and a Combat Trick. Play the Gavany Silversmith for a counter on Catilda and the Smith. And let's bolt Catilda here, probably, but I guess I'm holding Flip the Switch up. No, I should have bolted. I forgot about the mana. That was a punt. We should have just bolted Catilda immediately. Because now they can actually get the mana out of her, even if I kill her this turn. Eccentric Farmer. That resolves. Land for turn, Candlegrove Witch. They don't have Coven. That resolves. So we're taking 3 a turn. They have 1 card in their hand, which I can counter. And if it's not good, then we just play Memory Deluge. Okay, now I have Flip the Switch up and play Angler. Instead of holding up all the instants. Yeah, that's the one problem I have with holding up all the instants here. Is if they go to combat, I'm going to want to play Stormrider Spirit, and then I won't have the Flip the Switch up. I think with Memory Deluge, we're in a pretty good position here at this point. And that will not have Coven, so that's fine. That will not have nor trigger Coven. Instant speed removal? Gross. Sorcery speed removal would have been perfectly fine, but the instant speed removal gets us. That triggers Coven for Candlegrove Witch and Harvesttide Sentry, so that's very bad for me. Could Revenge of the Drowned it instead of Flip to Switch it. I think I just flipped to switch it. We might lose because we lost that tempo of not shooting the Mana Dork early. They have Coven even if I kill a 3, so I have to kill the 4 to shut off Coven. Which means they get to redraw a Silversmith, which is disgusting. Eaten Alive instead of Jaren now. Eaten Alive the Sentry. Yeah, this has been rough. We would have been in a bad position no matter what, because they've drawn literally all spells. But we could have had like another turn. I'm just gonna scoop them here. That was rough stuff. 3-1 heading to game 5. Here we are for game 5. Really awkward hand, but I'm not gonna mulligan a 2-color hand like this. It's awkward in that it doesn't start till turn 3. It has really strong stuff to play from that point on, but it can just get curved out like we did last game. Blue-black mirror match. They lead with the mythic uncommon Scab Wrangler on turn 2. They're gonna have a startle here. Miss a land. There's not even much of a point of running out Silverbolt over holding up Flip the Switch. Silverbolt will be like play and activate in the same turn at 4 mana. What on earth? Come on, lands. We are 0 for 3 on land draws. Incredible consider from our opponent. They look exactly 1 card deep for the Surveil, and that 1 card is a disturbed creature. There we go. Now he Silverbolts to shoot the Scab Wrangler. Flip the switch the Organ Hoarder. I am quite tempted to Bat Whisperer while they're tapped out. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Foul play the Falcon Abomination, great card. They also get to draw a card off the clue with it too. Jam for 5, put them to 5. Have to dissipate that because the other option is to just discard the dissipate in another card. And there's the concession from our opponents. I'm guessing it was probably no way out into Eaten Alive was their plan. In which case, if they Eaten Alive for 5, I counter it. If they no way out, I counter it, and they don't have anything to sack to the Eaten Alive. We could have let that resolve and then discard these two and hold up dissipate. That's actually probably better. Because then, unless they have 2 1-mana ways to not die, dissipate wins. Discarding Spirit and Deluge. Yeah, I actually think I played that wrong in the end. The early turns we played pretty correct there, and it managed to get us the win, but I guess that just balances things out from the punt against the green-white match, giving them all that extra mana where they got to dump 3 creatures out one turn, get that tempo going. That is 4-1 now, heading into game number 6. Here we are for game 6 now, 4-1 on the draw against the green deck. Green-blue it is. Harvest-Tide Sentry will start them off. Siege Zombie to trade in the Sentry. Hold up 1,000,000 flip the switches. Nebelgast Intruder. We'll flip the switch on that. Take the trade. I really like Bat Whisper. I mean, the amount of stats it puts on the board is kind of absurd, so I'm just going to run it out here yet again while the blue deck is tapped out. And there's a Gale Drifter. Not even a great card to counter because it just comes back from grave anyway. Cool, we trade with the front half of it. Play a land. Just hope they don't double spell from hand here. Rise of the Ants. Alright, I'll flip the switch that, but that can flashback for 8. Which does mean that No Way Out's going to be great here no matter what it hits. Even if it's lands in their hand, just getting them away from the 8 mana flashback is huge. Two Burdenmeyers. Honestly, not the greatest cards ever, but... Oh! They are still over it. We do have a wide board, but a lot of it is decayed. They're working their way towards multiple 3/3s. They were probably still in it, but fair enough. I mean, we conceded early against the green-white deck. We had one last draw step to try to hit something, if I blocked differently. 5-1 it is, heading into game number 7. Game 7. We're on the draw now with all 3 mana cards in hand, which can be quite slow, but still a definite keep with both of our colors. Opponent mulligans to 6, starts with a mountain and passes. Drop a swamp and pass. I think they have a play with fire in hand. The fact that they have 1 red mana up and it's holding, unless they're playing in full control mode, they have the 1 mana deal 2, which they're going to use to flip that Flame Channeler and kill a Falcon Abomination soon enough. Playing against Boros. Take our 2. And they drop a Harvest Tide Infiltrator. Okay, we'll just run out of Falcon Abomination and let them play with Fire It, because if I try to run out of Jaren on blocks here, they still can send in a 3/3 Flame Channeler. I guess the Jaren can block the Infiltrator. Yeah, no, I'll play Jaren. Jaren can block the Infiltrator at least, and that'll be the plan. Still Falcon Abomination and Eat Alive in the same turn next turn, sacking the Decayed Zombie. Alright, let's see what non-burn spell you have here. So we know about Play with Fire, that doesn't do anything to change the Infiltrator into Jaren trade. It would just flip the Flame Channeler if I tried to block that. Alright, Stolen Vitality, just cast a full-on combat trick, fair enough. Go to 12. Second Eaten Alive's pretty big. So they get to play with fire the Falcon Abomination. And by doing so, they're going to flip Flame Channeler into a 3/3 that can also draw cards. So we're going to kill that. Yeah, we kill that first. Over the Infiltrator. And then we just Eaten Alive the Infiltrator, and if they have no more threats, that'll get us there. I should have poked for 1. We missed a point of damage. They've got another threat, and it's Thermo Alchemist, which is a terrifying one. Because that's going to ping us turn over turn, even if we have blockers up. So let's go Organ Hoarder, and we'll Eaten Alive the Alchemist, and have the trade for the Infiltrator instead. Which this can get up to 4/4 stats, but I can still trade creatures off into a 4/4 eventually. Ooh. Pax Betrayal, take 6. Scribe both to the top. Well, we're dead then. If they have straight gas on top. If they scribe both to the top here, I almost feel like we Revenge of the Drowned the Infiltrator right now. If I pass, I can't even block it, right? I pass and then it's a 4/4 trample, and then I Revenge of the Drowned it. I just do the same thing regardless. I don't have the mana to play Abomination and Revenge of the Drowned. Keep them all on top. Yeah, so just Moonrage's Slash for lethal. Thermo Alchemist. Yikes. This is not the matchup we want to be drawing 0 of our counterspells in. Okay. I don't know why they felt the need to wait till exactly now, but that'll do it. Okay. 5 and 2 it is. Would have needed, again, some earlier interaction for that, like some well-timed counter spells and stuff. But we did not have one of our slower hands against a very quick start from our opponent. Here we are for game number 8. We're 5 and 2 right now. It's a pretty awful opener. 2 swamps. We have a double blue card in hand. Not only do we have 3 blue spells, but one of them requires double blue. The black spells aren't even castable unless we top deck a land. It can be any land and then we get to Jaren. But this is not a good opener. We'll keep a very mediocre 6. And then draw into some good stuff. Okay. That was a really good top deck. Having the angler into flip the switch curve helps a lot. Gives us the expendable creature for eaten alive and everything. Playing against blue-red. Very good spell slinger archetype. They start with Mysterious Tome. Okay, well, now that they have that out to just activate and draw cards instead of casting a spell next turn, I'm gonna run out Falcon Abomination. Yep, because they're just gonna use the tome. Flips into the Ice Manipulator, they tap a permanent and then flip it back to the card draw version. Pyre our flyer, kill it there. Run to the board here while they're tapped out. There's their own Falcon Abomination we'll eat. Find a Revenge the Drowned as well. Down to 14. Start on the Gale Drifter. This is just to draw a card right now. It's pretty fine. One mana away from having double counterspell up. Locked in the Cemetery to keep something tapped. They have the 4 for Flip the Switch, but not for Dissipate. I could keep tapping things with Chilling Chronicle anyway. I think I dissipate this regardless. Unless they have their own Flip the Switch. They do not. They play a Sunstreak Phoenix, which is also pretty bad. Keep bringing it back from the grave. Revenge that. Put them to 4. Play the Phoenix. Tap the Angler so the Gale Drifter has to trade into it. Put them to 2. And we're going to have 3 creatures on board. 4 if we cast Flip the Switch. Flip to switch the Organ Hoarder. And there's the concession from our opponent. That ended up being a really good matchup. The draws were perfect. The mulligan was a little rough. The opening 6 wasn't great, but then first draw being Flip the Switch, and just from there on, we drew really, really well to interact with that kind of slower controlling deck. So 6 and 2 it is. That is every single draft of Innistrad Midnight Hunt making it to the final battle. Sick stuff for this flashback trip. All right, here we are for the final battle here. Whether we win or lose, this will be the last game of Magic for today. We're 6 and 2 right now. Gonna definitely keep this opener. We are on the draw this game. Ecstatic Awakener first, then either of these 3 drops before we play Flip the Switches, because then if they don't kill Ecstatic Awakener is another instant speed ability, so we get to hold up a counterspell, and if we don't counter something, we get to flip the Awakener with our 3 mana. So it's just a really good use of mana. Turn 4, once we have both of the options up. Cathar Commando's the play from our opponent. Homestead Courage to buff it up. Just do it twice and immediately have a 5/3. That would actually be kind of a nightmare for this hand, because we don't have any removal. Delver of Secrets. Certainly hope they don't find the instant or sorcery on top for that quickly. Yep, Falcon Abomination have some blockers up, and this is a scary start for our opponent on the play. They draw a Candle Trap and reveal it for fun. Candle Trap the Abomination, yep. I mean, that's got to be for mental damage, right? Of the like, yep, I top decked this. Homestead Courage the Delver and hit for 6. Chump 4 and then No Way Out their hand. No Way Out in their hand means taking 6 next turn. But we got rid of 2 creatures, so that is something. That was a very lucky Delver flip. They got it in 2 draw steps. The average deck, even playing a bunch of instant sorceries, has 9 maximum, so less than a 25% chance. They got it in only 2 attempts. I think I just lose because that Delver flipped. If it didn't flip yet, I can trade with Commando next turn, but that was just way too quick of a Delver flip, especially when it flips into 2 +1/+1 counters on it. All right, you got me. A little bit of rough variance for these losses today. There was only one game I think we could have done anything. That was the green-white loss. We could have lasted another turn or 2 if we shot Catilda earlier. But the Boros and the Azorius deck here, the red-white and the blue-white deck, just kind of curved into the kill really quick, which happens. That is part of playing the aggro deck. You cross your fingers, hope you can high roll, and sometimes you really do, where it's just going to be unstoppable. We really just needed like a single copy of Eaten Alive or Removal in the top 12, I think, to have a good shot here. Because if I could sack this, Eaten Alive, kill the Aberration, we're still pretty in this. I chump Commando, but then I have the 3/2 for it the turn after. Yeah, there's a lot that could have changed the outcome here if we draw slightly better or they draw slightly worse, or at least Delver doesn't flip on the second try. But it is what it is. Don't quite get there in the end, but we still top off the Innistrad Midnight Hunt format with an incredible record, an incredible win rate. And sure, we may not have gotten to a trophy run, but that's still kind of winning the draft. If you go 6-3, anything at 5 wins or better, you're in the money. And anything above a 50-50 win rate in Magic is doing quite well, and we're certainly at like a 75% win rate on this return trip to Innistrad Midnight Hunt, which is absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, good stuff all around. Certainly hurts a bit. Doesn't feel great to lose that game there, but there's nothing we could do about that one. I think the only game that we genuinely had the chance again was the green white, so that feels the worst. Because if we killed Catilda earlier, they would have had less creatures out quite as fast, and we would have bought at least one more draw step. The way that game ended up, I had one final top deck to pray at like one life if I went chump on that last turn, but I was over it there. If we had killed Catilda fast enough to stop them from actually getting the mana out of her, which is what I absolutely should have done, then we probably could have had two more draw steps, which might actually have been enough if we drew perfectly to buy the time we needed to finish that game. But yeah, really happy with the deck, really happy with how I drafted it. Two of those losses, the Boros and Azorius deck, there's nothing you can do. And even the first loss, it would have been pretty unlikely. So once again, we're not going home with the trophy this time, but a 6-3 run is still a great win rate, and the fact that 6-3 is the worst we've done on this entire return trip means we've absolutely killed it on this journey to Innistrad Midnight Hunt. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.